Hey everyone, welcome to tonight's Survivor 40 chat.
Oh my god, it's the finale of Survivor 40 Winners at War.
What a season.
What a freaking season this was. I could see now why they had the recap at the end of the last episode.
Yeah, right? Like last time we couldn't figure out if they were going to show that recap again or what, but I'm glad to report that they just dove right into the episode today. After Jeff's intro, of course.
There was no fat to trim, really.
I mean, there was some fat to trim, but like the fat that they gave us was like really good.
It was good fat.
Emotional fat. It wasn't like waste of time fat. So I'll tell you guys what I thought the emotional fat, but good fat was when we get to it.
Well, the only thing that I was really super disappointed about was that there was no reunion show. And when they flashed all of the survivors on Zoom, that was like the last that we saw of them except for the final three. So it was really, to me, such a waste.
A finale in the time of COVID.
Well, you know what?
How hectic it would have been for them to have all 20 contestants on at the same time on like a Zoom call?
Well, since this season is unprecedented and this pandemic is unprecedented, wouldn't it have been nice to maybe next week have a reunion show that's a full hour?
Excuse me? That's not in the schedule.
All right. Well, Jeff at home in his CBS sanctioned Survivor set that probably Industrial Light and Magic, whatever, had built for him was everything.
It was awesome, but how fun would it have been if he had to create his own set from just like things that he had around his house?
Yeah.
That would have been hilarious.
I love that he admitted that his 16-year-old helped him put it together. I could see that.
That's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work. So, we get right to the Edge of Extinction competition.
Oh my god, here we go!
Trot them in here. It's a tangled rope obstacle course.
There were a lot of different stations to go through.
You had to build a bridge. You had to dig.
You had to build a bridge and get over it.
Exactly. There was a table maze where you had to land 2 balls in there. And that was not an easy table maze. There was a lot of little pitfalls in that one.
Yeah.
So Natalie bought herself 3 advantages. When they were saying like what she didn't have to do, I was thinking like, oh my god, she's going to leave everybody in the dust.
She didn't have to do the first part. She didn't have to dig up her extra rope. She had
the
like
rope
what,
bridge
30% of her thing built already or whatever. So it was like, whoa, she's got this locked down, right?
This is hers to lose.
So a couple other people did also have the first advantage. So that was Wendell, Parvati, and Yule.
Right.
I was surprised more people didn't have it, but I guess they used their tokens the first time around or on...
Or they weren't there that
like
long to get tokens.
True. Yeah.
So Natalie actually got stuck on the first part of the challenge and fell quite a bit behind.
Yeah, she lost a lot of time on that
She
first
got tangled in that rope, and she just couldn't seem to get out of her own way.
Wendell was really...
he was booking it.
He was booking it. He was pretty far ahead. I just want to note, too, I guess a lot of people didn't get tokens because Natalie was so dominant.
Yeah.
With all the clues and everything on the Edge of Extinction.
Well, it came down to like a 3-way tie between Natalie, Wendell, and Tyson.
All working on that maze at the end.
I feel like Natalie barely won this challenge with all the advantages that she had.
If she didn't win this thing, man, that would have been wild.
That would have been really sad.
But she pulled out the win, which was super exciting because I was definitely rooting for her. And it's just, I can't even believe the first person to be voted out is now going back into the game. Yeah, and she's in the final 6. That's crazy.
That's pretty much the way it was last time, except he wasn't first. Maybe he was like 3rd or 2nd.
Chris lasted a bit longer. I mean, to be the first person out.
All right, so everybody who's left on the jury is now super disappointed because they didn't make it back into the game.
That was their last chance, and now, they're on the jury. But at least they get to, like, go and eat and clean themselves up. And
well, they also got to say how great the show has been for them and what it's meant to them. And
this part, I feel like, was not totally necessary. This was some of the emotional fat that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it.
I did too.
We got to hear from a lot of the like old school players and Kim because everyone wants to hear what Kim has to say. But yeah, they mostly talked to the old school players here.
Yeah.
Talking about how Survivor has impacted their lives, how important this was to them, and how special this was to them. It was awesome.
And then Jeff said that the show sent everybody a voice recorder so that they could do some voiceover.
This was another emotional fat segment.
For the montage that they were showing of the season, like the thrills and chills of the season.
This was really great to watch.
And it wasn't that long. Sometimes I take issue when they just like the emotional fat is too long. I feel my emotional cholesterol going up and I just can't handle it. I don't want to have a heart attack. I don't want to die like that.
This stuff maybe we wouldn't have seen if they were able to do the reunion.
Right.
You know, this is something that I feel like maybe would have gotten cut.
Well, I think also too, they really owed it to these people since they were all winners that they really...
These people have helped to build up this franchise.
Exactly. So, it was a big Survivor love fest, basically. Jeff couldn't get enough. He's so needy. All right, so...
What?
He's so Survivor emotionally needy.
He's invested in the show, and I appreciate that.
You know what? There's still fans of Rock and Roll Jeopardy out there, Jeff. And I was very emotionally invested in that show. Thank you for leaving. Okay.
All right. Well, anyway, back at camp, we've got the final 6.
All right. And it's Natalie, Ben, Denise, Tony, Sarah, and Michelle.
Quite a group. So
Natalie like, doesn't waste any time.
I need to get to work here. So she does the smart thing. She's like, you know what? I'm coming back from the edge of extinction. I'm the only one here.
Some shit up.
Yeah, so I can say pretty much whatever I want about what's been said and what's been happening there, and they won't be able to ask anybody else if it's true or not.
Nobody's got receipts.
Yeah, so she lets everybody know, the jury thinks that Tony is in charge and running everything, which I think was true. They have been saying that. I think it was true,
yeah.
And Tony's like, oh, because obviously you don't want somebody saying that about you because people are not going to want to take you to the end if they think that you're going to beat them.
Well, Tony and Officer Sarah, Cops R Us Alliance, has a little meeting, and they think that they really need to get rid of Natalie.
She's a huge threat.
Yeah, because of her backstory, her amazing wins on Edge of Extinction.
She spent a month hanging out with the jury.
Yeah, she's got some ins there. All right, so it's time for the immunity challenge, and it's an obstacle course, water slide.
Big water slide.
Yeah. How much of your ass did you leave on that water slide?
Seriously, whenever they do slides and stuff like that, I'm just like, owie, just watching it.
But I think since it was water, it probably wasn't as bad as some of the ones that were in the past.
I don't know. It just looks so painful.
And then there was a puzzle that, lo and behold, Michelle won in her season.
She's done this puzzle before, and she won it. So that's pretty good for her going into this.
Well, Michelle was in last place.
She was having a really tough time with the physical part of this challenge.
Ben was leading. He was starting to put his puzzle together first. And then freaking Michelle got her pieces. She caught up to everybody, and she busted through that puzzle like she made the puzzle.
Yeah, I mean, you had to stack everything up so that it was all the same height.
3 levels, yeah.
And she was just like, bloop, 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 bloop.
And everybody was just there with their pants down around their ankles.
Trying to copy her, but they just couldn't catch up to her. She killed it.
It was crazy.
That was an insane come from behind win.
She really needed that immunity, too.
Yeah, she would have been in trouble because... Again, Natalie's coming back into this game with an immunity idol, so...
Yeah. And there's other idols in play, too. Tony had an idol, and Ben had an idol as well.
Yeah, Michelle needed this win.
So Natalie pulls Michelle aside and says, you know what? I want to work with you.
Natalie wants to shake things up, and so does Michelle. They're realizing, Tony's gotta go!
Yeah.
Or we're gonna be in trouble here.
Michelle always seems like she's at the bottom. So
she has been.
Everybody's been scooping her up, and I think they've kind of been dragging her along.
Well, Natalie let Michelle know, I have an idol.
And I want to get rid of Tony.
Michelle was very excited to hear this. Very much on board.
Because she's been trying to break up that alliance the whole game, pretty much.
But will they have the votes to pull this off? And does Tony have an idol?
All right. Well, Sarah's 100% telling Tony, and I think Ben was too, that Natalie does not have an idol.
Well, because at this point, Tony, Sarah, and Ben, the alliance of three, they're trying to figure out how they're going to take out Natalie. Are they going to split the votes between her and Denise?
Right.
Or are they going to put it all on Natalie?
Right. It's always tricky, these tribals. You never know when to split the votes.
Well, Ben and Sarah were insisting that Natalie does not have an idol. So Tony was like losing his mind, being like, how do you know? Are you sure? Is this really a good idea to be putting all these votes on Natalie? Because he realizes if Natalie does have an idol, he's going to have to play his idol. Ben's going to have to play his idol. And that's going to put Sarah and Denise in danger.
Right. So at Tribal Council, we got some probesting going on. Natalie is the easy vote. She's back, she doesn't have the emotional tie with these people because she didn't spend the whole season with them. She's got an in with the jury. Yep. And Natalie says, everyone thinks Tony's running it. Look over there.
But the big show-stopping moment or moments from this tribal was really Sarah's
gender bias talk.
Yes, which was so spot on.
Yeah.
And it's not just a Survivor thing.
No, it's
across all reality TV competitions.
It's life.
And life, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, we've seen this over and over again. You have a woman playing a game who is like strategic and making these cutthroat moves.
And she's a bitch.
And she's a bitch. She's an awful person. But then you have a guy making the exact same moves, and he's such a master strategist.
Mastermind.
He's amazing. Yeah. One of the best to ever play. And it's just not right.
It's not fair.
And I loved that Jeff acknowledged that, you know what?
He said he's guilty.
He's said some things like that in the past, and he didn't even think about it until now, and I'm glad that he owned up to it. I think we've all been guilty of that. I'm sure I've been guilty of that for sure.
You know what? I don't think it's... If you've been guilty of it, I think it's what you do with it when you realize that you've made a mistake in anything in life.
Yeah.
Because everybody makes mistakes, and everybody is not aware. Sometimes it's really just not even your fault that you're just not exposed to those things, or you're not exposed to those ideas. But if you still turn your back once you hear the idea, then that's bad.
I mean, it's even things just like Jeff was saying where he would have, like...
call somebody by their last name.
But it's only really ever guys. And he's got, like, a much chummier relationship with a lot of these guys than he has with the women in the past. So then...
It's funny, because I always thought that when Jeff called somebody by their last name, he didn't really like them
I thought that meant he liked them.
Oh, I thought that he didn't like them.
So, what did you think about Sarah asking to be called... Lucina.
I thought that was cool. Yeah.
That was cool. And he followed through with it, which was neat. But this was a really big moment for Sarah. I think it was a big standout. It was
a breakthrough.
Yeah, I mean, not only did she get closure from her season that she won, because she got a lot of hatred coming her way about how she played the game, but also...
Game changes.
Yeah, which I thought she played phenomenally
that
season. I loved it.
I did too.
But it was also a big moment in front of the jury. That is something that the jury could be thinking about if she makes it to the final three.
Right. She's starting to make a name for herself in front. She's starting to get noticed. So it comes down to the vote. Natalie, of course, plays her idol, followed by Tony playing his idol, followed by Ben playing his idol.
Oh my God!
So all of the votes were for Ben and Natalie.
So that means...
We've got to revote.
But because of the way... this is all shaking down. If there is a tie... Okay, they can only vote for... Who was it? Denise?
And Michelle.
No, Michelle won immunity. Denise...
Oh, right.
I can't even remember what's happening now. Denise or Sarah.
Okay, right.
So if there's a tie, because there's only 4 people voting, so if there's a tie, they're not going to be drawing for rocks because everybody else is safe.
Right.
So if there's a tie, Sarah and Denise will have to do a fire-making challenge.
Right.
So this is super freaking intense, but they do the vote, and Denise is voted out. I think it was unanimously, right?
Yeah.
I guess they just didn't want Denise to be able to make it to the end and make the argument that she was the sole person to get rid of Sandra this season.
Yeah.
I mean, she really sniped her. So that was a huge threat going to the end, and they were like, yeah, Denise has got to go.
Okay, so back at camp, after the tribal, there's probably another idol in play.
Yeah, I mean, there's one more tribal council where they're allowed to play idols, and all these idols were just used, so there's got to be at least one new one out there, right?
So Tony goes looking for an idol.
How'd you like that fire in the shell?
That was kind of cool.
That was fun.
That was cool. He's so innovative when it comes to... He should be like Tony Inspector Gadget. So...
So yeah, he's not even waiting for the sun to come up. He's just
going out and looking. He spent the whole night looking for an idol in the dark and didn't find it. And the next morning, everybody else woke up and started looking for them. And who finds it? Natalie.
Damn, she's on a roll.
Said, I've been sticking my hands in trees, you know, crevices, whatever, and I pulled out an idol.
Okay, I say this every time. People are looking for
How do you
idols,
not get bit?
Especially in the dark. How has no one gotten bit by like some sort of dangerous creature,
or like pooped their pants because something like scurried out, or yeah?
Like, I mean, seriously, like they're sticking their hands in all these holes and stuff. Like
that does not sound right.
I know.
So it's time for the immunity challenge. And it's a surf and turf obstacle course.
Oh.
And then at the end, you have to land these 2 janksy sandbags on a platform on a post.
Mm-hmm. Which seems super difficult.
Because you can't knock off the first one that you put on there.
It's hard enough to get one on there, but to get 2 at the same time? And they're
so janksy. They don't, like, land. They, like, flop.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. So Natalie and Ben were leading. Michelle in last. She's not very good at challenges.
She was not able to come from behind in this one.
No.
But, I mean, I think the real strategy here, when you get to those sandbags, you had to throw it, like,
it had to be
up.
A high arc.
Yeah. Because if you just threw it like a line drive, it's just going to bounce right off of the platform.
Well, Tony came from behind and won immunity.
Wow.
He really, really, really needed that right then.
Oh, yeah.
So Tony tells Sarah... It's spy nest time.
Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go.
Sarah leads Natalie over to the spy nest so that Tony can see them talking and
he was listening in for a long time, and he got some good info.
So Natalie says that she wants to get rid of Ben. Mm-hmm. And Sarah sees that in Natalie's buff on her wrist, it's a little bulky. So she's got a little idol bump in there.
Yeah, so she ends up showing it to Sarah, and Tony's just like,
yeah.
that was hilarious.
Great.
That was hilarious.
How does he drop out of those trees like so high up
like
and not
cat.
get hurt? I know.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So now he knows that Natalie has this idol, because if she was able to keep it a secret, she could kind of decide like, oh, am I going to use it for myself or am I going to use it for Michelle? But now it's like out there, so.
Well, Sarah, Tony, and Ben, that little alliance, decides, let's get rid of Michelle.
They got the numbers right now.
Right.
But I don't know. It's an interesting thing here because Sarah knows that she is kind of standing in Tony's shadow, and like she doesn't want to say it. It seems like she doesn't want to admit that, but I think in her heart she knows like if it's her and Tony in the end, Tony's gonna win.
Yeah. Well, Ben feels really, really guilty. Maybe it was that whole women's gender bias thing that is making him feel bad. Maybe it's just that these survivors are so close this season that this has been the most emotional season for voting people off, because a lot of these people are friends in real life, and Ben just does not want to have bad blood. He wants to be friends with these people, and he probably figures that he does not have a chance.
I think that was a big part of it.
And he wants to give that chance to Sarah.
I think he's realizing,
write down my name.
Yeah, I think he's realizing even if he does make it to the end, he will not have the votes to win. I think he probably had a really rough experience when he did win, and a lot of people were saying that he didn't earn it.
He didn't deserve it.
And he probably didn't want to have to deal with that crap again, so he was like, I'm going to do something like this to kind of change the narrative and get some like positive energy and attention coming out of this season. So I think that was a big part of it. And I think, yeah, he genuinely did care for Sarah, wanted to give her more of a chance, because he told her, you need to make some sort of move outside of what you've been doing with Tony. Right. Like, you need to do something for you. But I think also, like, he knew he wasn't going to get the...
That's all fine and good, but I would feel like if somebody told me to write down their name and just, like, gave me a gift like that, like, I didn't really earn it. And that's probably going to cause problems for her down the line where people would say, he just, you know, basically surrendered and you didn't really earn that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on here because I think, yeah, Sarah should take advantage of this opportunity and vote him out. Yes, hell yes. But at the same time, and I'm saying,
it's a double-edged sword.
It's not her fault for, like, accepting what he's
right.
offered and going through with it. But at the same time, it kind of makes her look like, oh, he had to sacrifice his game for her.
For her, yeah.
Which I don't think he needed to.
No.
But, like, would she have made that move anyway? Because I feel like there's a possibility that she would have.
I don't know. Who knows? So at Tribal, the probesting is along the lines of this game has changed from alliances to everybody for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, this is crunch time.
Right. Jeff, and I quote, said, intense personal scrutiny.
Yeah, they were talking about how a lot of players will really downplay all the positive things that they've done, and it's just, like, all the bad things really stick out in their minds.
Hello, welcome to life.
It's tough to deal with. I'm sure it's super magnified, though, in this situation.
Right. Imagine living your whole life in 39 days.
Oof.
All right, so Ben wants integrity, though. He does not want to...
He said he wants to leave this game with friends this time.
Right. So... the Sarah, Ben, and Tony alliance, Michelle has been trying to take them down all season, but never was able to. She's hoping that she could put a little, you know, a little tap-tap there and knock off one of them. So it's time for the vote, and Natalie plays her idol for herself. Surprise, surprise.
I mean, this is the last time you can use it, right? And you gotta look out for yourself.
Was she planning on possibly playing it for Michelle?
I mean, I think she probably thought about it, but look at everything that she's gone through. Like, how could you not just play it for yourself?
So Ben is voted out.
Yeah, Sarah went through with it. She voted him out. Tony looks a little surprised. Do you really think that she didn't tell him?
I don't think so. I don't think so. So... let's get right to the final immunity challenge.
Okay.
It's that killer-ass balls in motion one.
Oh, boy.
This is awful. Oh, my God, this one.
It's so fun to watch, though, but it's stressful.
Well, Jeff says that whoever won this challenge as the final immunity challenge, and I think he said they used it 4 times. This was the 4th time?
Well, he had 2 different stats that he shared. So he said that... Michelle has... No,
he said, some of the not all of the people won the final immunity.
What? No, wait. He said...
and went on to become winners.
He said that the 3 people that have won this challenge as the final immunity challenge ended up winning...
No.
We're mixing up our stats. Whatever.
He said only one of the people to win the final immunity challenge who were left went on to be a winner. No.
Forget it. We're moving on. There were some stats that were very interesting.
Well, the important one here is that the people who won this one as the final immunity challenge went on to win the show.
It is very late, and we were very tired.
Yes. Sorry, guys. I'm sure you'll school us in the comments, though, and that would be most welcome at this point. So, you would think that would continue.
What?
That whoever won this one would end up winning the whole show.
Not necessarily.
I mean...
they've all had such different journeys this season.
Okay.
Like, anything goes, I think.
Well, I mean, if it stays with the pattern.
I think, too, like, the way that the structure of the end game has changed with the whole fire-making challenge and everything, it switches things up. Because if you win the fire-making challenge, that's, like, another thing on your resume, even if you lose the final immunity.
Right.
So, I don't know. It's different now.
Well, Tony was the first one out of this challenge. And that was only when 3 balls were in motion.
Right.
And it came down to Natalie and Michelle when they both had 5 balls in motion.
Damn.
And I really thought Natalie was screwing up big time because her balls seemed to be unevenly spaced.
Off. Yeah.
But she kept pulling out these crazy ass saves, and Michelle faltered, and Natalie won the final immunity challenge.
Mm-hmm. I think I remember what the stats were.
Okay.
So, only one out of the people that were left have won this challenge before, and that was Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of the, 3 times that they've used this, the 3 other times that they've used this challenge as the final challenge, all of the people that won that one won their season.
Right.
I think that's what it was.
Okay. All right, so, congratulations.
I think that's what, that could be wrong.
All right, so everybody's practicing fire except Natalie, of course.
Mm-hmm. 'Cause she's got her spot. I mean, she could pull a Chris from last time they did the Edge of Extinction and be like, I'm going to be the one doing the fire challenge. But I don't think so.
Natalie's been very conservative in her risk-taking since she's come back.
She's got a lot of stuff to show for herself compared to Chris's resume from when he won. So I think she's thinking, you know what? I'm going to calculate my risks a little bit here. Like, I do not need to be doing this right now.
Right. Well, we find out that Tony kind of sucks at fire.
He looked like he was struggling, and Michelle and Sarah were doing all right.
Yeah. So, at Tribal, Natalie keeps her immunity and picks Michelle to go with her to the end and lets the Cops R Us cannibalize itself.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, she just really wanted to split up that alliance, and this was the only guaranteed way to do it. So, it made sense.
That's cool with the Cops R Us crew because they want to take each other out. They don't want somebody else to take them out.
Cops R Us. I've really enjoyed Cops R Us every single season that they've been on.
Alliance.
Like, it's such a good journey to watch.
It is.
They were more solid this season than they've been
than ever.
Any other season.
Yeah. So, it's Tony versus Sarah in the fire, and it was so
oh my God,
freaking close. First I was thinking, oh my God, what is that rope made of? It's not going
through. I thought Sarah had it that first time that her fire started burning.
She used up all of her coconut in the beginning. And that made the fire burn really hot and high. But it didn't last for very long.
It wasn't
And
enough.
Slow and Steady won the race for Tony because he built his and it just kept building and building and building until Tony he finally burned it down.
To pull that out. And it was such an emotional win for him.
He could not contain himself. He kept telling her how much he loved her.
They both were. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Cops
the
rest.
So emotional. He was wrecked.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think there's just like a really strong bond naturally between like police officers, and they've been through so much together. I mean, this is like their 3rd season playing together.
Yeah.
So, isn't it? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It's their 3rd season playing together. And they actually like stayed loyal to each other this time.
Yes.
So,
which was nice.
It was wild. But he couldn't even do the like, woohoo!
No.
In response. He was just too emotional.
Like, woohoo!
Not even. He just couldn't like do it.
Yeah. Okay, so it's the next morning. It's the final 3 breakfast, and all I've got to say is, oh, the buns, though.
Oh my God, it looks so good.
Survivor food is always looking so good.
It really is.
Not the food that they eat, like the rice.
No.
Although sometimes that does look pretty good. But, like, the food that they get on rewards.
Even the food that they give them, like, to prepare themselves, it's just like, oh, damn, these people are just outside cooking, like,
They're living
in
the Survivor gourmet life. All right, so they enjoy a nice breakfast. There's no more challenges. The only thing they need to do is convince the jury that...
Well, there's still a challenge, but it's facing the jury.
Yes. And boy, that tribal did not disappoint. It was in the pouring rain.
How miserable did the jury look? Especially Sophie, who wasn't at the last tribal because she was sick. So she was just like, I felt so bad for her.
She didn't even clap or do anything. I mean,
she must have been really ill.
Yeah.
And Nick looked rough. He was just like...
Yeah, everybody was shivering.
I mean, some people more than others.
All right, so... They broke it down into the 3 criteria.
That's what they've been doing the last few seasons.
Yeah. So first we have outwit. And it's pretty obvious that Tony had the best social game.
I mean, I think you could argue that Michelle also had one of the best social games because she was not winning tons of challenges. She was always, like, on the outs, but she still managed to make it work for herself.
Right.
With her strong social bonds.
Freaking Natalie, she wasn't even that social with the jury, who she spent all that time with.
They were saying, like, in the last week or so, she wasn't hanging out with everybody, and her explanation was...
She was doing all the secret stuff.
She was keeping stuff secret, yeah. And also she was trying to, like, get in the zone for the challenge to come back. So...
Yeah, it was pretty obvious to me when they were discussing this, when Tony had the freaking jury in stitches and they were laughing.
Especially after he screwed them over. Like, a lot of them.
He was talking about his spy nest, how he had no votes against him. That's crazy.
Huge. No votes against him this whole season. That is wild.
We were saying that a couple weeks ago. Like, how are people not voting against him?
I mean, I would have to say, like, if he didn't win all those challenges, which he won, what, 4 individual immunity challenges? If he didn't win those, I think he definitely could have been in trouble and gotten some votes, but he won when he needed to. And
but all of those challenges still did not put a target on his back.
Well, I think he won when he needed to, but you're right. Like, there were opportunities where people could have tried to make a move and they didn't.
Right. Okay, so the outplay. There's no question that Natalie is a badass.
Oh my god, when she was going through all the advantages she found and all the fire tokens she earned on the edge of Extinction, I was just like, she was in control of, like, almost all of the advantages and the disadvantage this season.
Yet, she was the first voted off.
Right. But still, wild. Absolutely wild.
Yeah. So Tony won the 4 challenges and Michelle had 2 wins under her belt. And now the outlast. Natalie got back in the game after being voted off first.
Yeah, this was their chance to, like, make their little ending speech.
Right.
I thought she could have maybe played more to the jury in this final speech. I feel like she spent the most time with them out of any, you know what I mean? But I feel like she didn't work that enough in this final speech. I don't know.
Well, Tony said he was up every night looking for idols. He had the spy nest. He was he had to get his target off of his back.
I mean, he was a huge target the whole entire game.
One of the best arguments also that he had was that Natalie came back and tried to take him out, and she couldn't.
Yeah.
So that was quite a resume. Michelle didn't really have much to say.
Well, I mean...
Except that I was at the bottom.
Yeah, she was like, I was at the bottom the whole time. It was really hard. I went to 15 out of, like, 19 tribals or something. When the season that she won, she went to, what, 6, she said? That's crazy.
The more she talked, though, the more I felt like if she hadn't had other people helping her, she probably wouldn't have, you know,
I mean,
like...
that's part of the game. But
yeah.
I thought she would have had some people more in her corner. It seemed like people were receptive to what she was saying, but I think she was just up against 2 titans.
Powerhouses, yeah. So it's time for the vote. They did their little vote. Jeff took his thing. He walked over the bridge, and he ended up in his garage.
Who would have thought at the time that they did this vote
that this would
be the finale?
Yeah.
Like, this would be the situation for the finale. It's
that Jeff
wild.
Got a freaking Bluetooth in his ear talking from his garage with a giant iPad.
Yeah.
And some ring lights, probably. All right, so Jeff reads the votes to the final 3.
Yeah, they had the final 3 on with their families.
On Zoom, which was really cool. I love all of these Zoom things. I love seeing people's houses. Honestly, I love driving around at night and looking at people's houses and seeing what I can see.
You're weird. Okay.
I sure am. Watch out.
Yeah, so Jeff is going through the votes, and poor Michelle didn't get any votes. I was really surprised.
So sad. I hope she's not going to be messed up from that.
I was really surprised that she didn't get any votes
Not
at all.
one.
Especially with, 16 people voting? Well, guess what? It was pretty much a blowout.
Tony won with
12 votes.
Was it 12?
Yeah, Natalie got 4.
Right. That's right.
So, I mean, she did everything that she could pretty much coming back from being the first person voted out.
Michelle shouldn't feel bad, though, because, like, Natalie only got 4 votes and she was a powerhouse.
Oh, Michelle played a great game. Like, she's got nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
Fantastic.
No.
But Tony just, like, owned this season.
He really did.
He was calling shots. He was entertaining everybody. It was just amazing.
How excited did his daughter look when she realized
the kids
that
were so cute.
Her daddy was winning $2 million.
Yeah.
I want a pony!
Yep. So now we have the king and the queen of Survivor.
That's right. So now Jeff lays another bombshell on us. First of all, there's no Sia money.
Where's the Sia award?
Crazy.
Did they just not have time for it? I mean,
I don't know.
They were really pushing it in those last few minutes, trying to get this thing wrapped up.
They were. Jeff said there's going to be a 41st season happening this fall.
What?
Then, what he said really blew my mind.
This was weird.
Hey, all you 16, 17, and 18-year-olds and cool parents and...
Schools?
16?
He said, hey, you never know. Isn't that a little young, Jeff?
That's a little young.
Isn't that a little young? So...
there's also a book coming out this summer, like a commemorative
I want to check that out.
40th anniversary Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like a coffee table memory book.
Yeah.
Highlights, lowlights, all lights.
I'm into it. But hear me out. Okay, so say they are having a season in the fall and they don't get to shoot it like way ahead of time. Mm-hmm. What if they aired the season in like almost real time?
That would be pretty amazing.
That would be insanity.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I mean, I guess you can kind of do this because if you go to like Fiji or wherever where coronavirus is not really an issue.
I mean, yeah.
And the crew stays there the whole time.
Because they're kind of going to be like in their own...
Yeah.
It's not like Big Brother where you have like crew coming in and out. Mm-hmm. You know? I don't know. Maybe.
If you could sign people on to stay and quarantine before, and then...
Yeah, I don't know all the logistics, but...
It sounds doable.
Wow.
But 16-year-olds, Jeff? 16. Come on.
Woo! But anyway, this was such a great season. I really enjoyed it. I thought Tony was a more than worthy winner. He really, really earned that.
Yeah.
And it was thrilling to watch Natalie really make a run for it at the end. And Michelle, too, like winning all those competitions towards the end. Mm-hmm. It was great.
I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as we did. Because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's it for the season, kids.
Thanks for watching with us this season, you guys.
Make sure you subscribe for more upcoming surprises coming on the Madrosed channel.
We'll see what happens.
We might have some things up our sleeves.
Well, we'll see if there's a Big Brother or not. Because if there's not a Big Brother this summer, we do have some other things planned. Mm-hmm. Which I think you guys will enjoy.
I think you will really enjoy it. So make sure you're subscribed and be on the lookout for that. So until next time,
much love.